Seems like a nice weather today. I was looking at the trees, looks like the leaves are changing colors already. Time's flying. Looks like for tomorrow I might have to try to juggle some stuff. Remember those guys I helped to do the volunteer vlogging for that Canada Day event? They wanted me to try to give them a hard copy. I'm not sure what they're going to do with it, but I guess they'll use it to, in some ways, promote their city events and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. Which makes me think again, it was too bad I didn't actually have the drone. I think it's stuff like that that people need to see, that you can use it in a good way. Apparently in a few days too, it'll be the very last one of those Transport Canada sessions. Apparently this session is supposed to last for 3 hours too. It makes me wonder how that's going to be conducted. Based on the other one that you guys saw, I hope it won't have that many technical difficulties. Actually, I wonder if I should be going to document this as well, if there's going to be enough people attending it anyways. Should I document that for 3 hours? That's going to be a long conference. Although I would be more interested in the questions that were raised personally. And I did try to read about those shoes on the power line theories. It says here, a number of criminal explanations have been proposed as to why this is done. The foremost is bullying, in which a bully steals a pair of shoes and puts them in a place where they are unlikely to be retrieved. Or sometimes it is done as a practical joke played on drunkards. So it's all a myth. No one can explain why people throw shoes up in the power lines, huh? Kind of makes me curious how many of those city workers have to deal with on a day-to-day basis in terms of getting them down. I guess a drone would be good for that, right? Swoop up, grab it, bye. That's actually an interesting tree shape. Tomorrow will be a working day, so it'll be interesting to see if DJI actually responds after that last email. It's kind of funny because I was thinking whether or not, a lot of people say they always blame the customer for the most part in the beginning, and I was reading this interesting bit about someone's Mavic, I guess the battery or something, it blew up in mid-air, and basically, obviously it caused the drone to land, or crash, that's a better word for it. And so when he first sent it in, apparently DJI said he has to pay up, I guess, over $200 to do this. And as he was disputing it, he showed pictures of the battery that actually blew up, and then afterwards, to my knowledge, they actually covered it. But it just goes to show again about how, again, it seems like it's always the customer's fault first. For some odd reason, they don't actually check the data. So hopefully something will come out of this, but who knows. It makes me think too in terms of regulations and all that. As a flyer, for me, I'm more concerned not so much as to user error, like you still be safe. I'm actually more concerned about manufacturer errors of the drone, like stuff like this, which I can't control. So it makes me think whether or not, in terms of regulations, it's actually better for things like the governments to focus on trying to make a standardized platform, because that's one of the conversations in Transport Canada, to say drone manufacturers, you have to make it this way, like to be safe. I don't know, to me that's actually something that's important, I feel anyways. Basically ensuring that manufacturers make a drone that's safe to fly and that they stand by the product. None of this, oh, it's your fault and all that, and make sure they actually check it out. Isn't that what they do with cars and stuff like that? And I was reading you guys' suggestions of what you said you wanted to potentially see me do more of, I guess in terms of the videos. And I was thinking too, because I was looking up that Patreon thing since you guys talked about it. And funny enough, the first thing that came up was apparently like YouTube banning Patreon. I was like, well, this can't be right. I'm used to the thing where if it's in the internet, the thing spreads too fast, so you gotta try to do your research thoroughly. And apparently it's just something about end screens, like you can't actually link to the Patreons at the end. It's not that they're banning it, even though that's what a lot of these sites and stuff say. Now, apparently one of the theories as to why that is one is, I guess, from YouTube's end, it said a security reasons, they don't want to fund like a terrorist or something like that. But the other one is apparently YouTube's gonna have like a sponsorship mode. It's currently there, but it's only for people who do just gaming videos, to my knowledge. So in relation to all that, one of the first suggestions was to build a mini quad. That's actually not the first time someone's brought that up. It makes me wonder though, for building the mini quad, would that be just to build it in general, or for me to use it like in a practical way, for what I use it for anyways, to capture footage? Or do people just want to see, for example, me trying to build it just for the sake of building it, if that makes sense? Imagine resource-wise, if people were to help me out with that, if I was to build one, it should be something that I would actually use. Like for example, to fly through tighter spaces, again, to capture stuff that I couldn't normally capture, that would be cool. Although the stuff that I'm thinking of is probably way over my head. Like trying to attach cameras like this into a drone, which I would assume is a no-no. You have to start somewhere smaller. The average budget for that, from what I've seen, is about, what is it, $300? That sound about right? To try to build your own quad, if you're getting something not attaching like a camera. You're using something like they provide, for example, like those smaller ones meant more for just, I guess, watching your point of view as you fly. Although funny enough, in terms of flying in FPV and all that, when I watch footages, even the one with the trains, as crazy as it is, when I look at it, I don't think it's that nuts, because to me it looks like a video game in many ways. So I'm not that intimidated by flying like through really tight paths. If anything, the only reason why I'm paranoid is with like the Mavic Pro, because it's a lot bigger and it's more expensive, so I'm less inclined to go really fast in those ways. But that could be an idea. I don't mind zipping through like an empty forest or something like that with a small FPV drone just to get the perspectives and all that. So the other suggestion here was, you were saying since I live in the area here where there's a lot of, I guess, amazing places to visit, you'd like to see more of that and provide more commentary, I suppose, of places that are around here in the Vancouver area. And you were suggesting whether or not things like an extra battery would help me with the Mavic to go on the adventures. Actually, I'm thinking about it in terms of batteries. If I was to get another battery, it's probably more wise to get, I guess, a power supply of some sort that can work in multiple ways. Because I find anyways, when I go into those adventures, I usually have to charge the thing up, whether it be this camera or the batteries. Well, actually, I can't charge the batteries because it usually needs like an AC outlet or something like that. So something like that would actually be a better investment, because if I do get, like, say, a different drone, then I can charge them all like with the same power supply. So that's what I would think in terms of something helping that way. But in terms of what would help in terms of capturing more and going on those adventures, I'm just trying to think. Again, there, I guess it comes down to things like, what is it that some people would want to see in that way? Because I know for me, when I go on, like, say, those hikes and all that, it makes me always wonder, could I have captured more with different types of stuff? For example, if I'm walking through the path, I can't keep recording with this because it gets too hot. It would have been nice to have some kind of time-lapse feature, but that requires like a different type of equipment. Or would people like to see, for example, potentially, like, I would think it would be potentially cool, but it's over my head, in terms of getting like underwater shots, like with a drone and stuff like that. So that's something completely different. Well, the other small item I was actually thinking about, but I don't know too much about, is remember how I joked when I go on the hikes, like maybe a bear is gonna come out or something like that, or I hear the bushes rumbling, like I don't know what's there. I was thinking, like, would a thermal camera be cool? Like a really simple one, maybe even for the smartphone, so you can see basically what's there, and potentially that might help me to say, hey, send the drone over there, then I can see what's going on. I don't know, all those ideas basically comes to my head when it comes to what can help in that way. Could be some of the simple stuff too. For example, I know I usually have some audio issues with this because I don't have like an external mic, so I can't really find one that's portable and that would do the job in terms of capturing stuff like that. Like, I don't want to carry around these huge stuff. I want stuff that you can actually bring along and I'll actually use. That actually leads to the other question, which is kind of related, on whether or not I went to places like the Squamish area or the Whistler area to capture drone footages. Funny enough, going to the Squamish Chief hike is kind of the reason why I wanted a drone. When I hiked up there and I stood there, I was like, my goodness, I want an aerial shot of this. I never actually went back there yet with the drone. I guess it should be pretty obvious by now. I walk a lot. I usually walk everywhere. And if I can't get there by foot, for example, or by immediate transit access, then it requires an actual trip or planning. So I can't exactly just go to places like that, just like that. Again, that just comes down to things like resources and all that stuff. But that should kind of give a general idea of what the things I could potentially do in terms of capturing different kinds of footages or stuff that people may want to see on my way. I mean, a lot of the landmarks and stuff I pass by every day, so I don't know, maybe someone would say like, hey, I want to see more of that, and one day when I'm passing by, like, sure. Me, the exploring and getting the perspectives that you can't normally get is what kind of excites me usually, to get out there and start capturing stuff. And who knows, like, again, not everyone's around the area, so I can capture it for you too. If I had to choose one personally on what would be the most, I guess, useful to document more, it'll probably be the backup drone slash the smaller one, just because, for one, if I'm down the drone like this for whatever reason, then I can still capture, and two, it'll allow me to capture things that I couldn't normally in the tighter spaces and all that. One of the things I hoped to do before, which obviously is not possible, was while I'm vlogging here, I can have like a drone above me to get the aerial views at the same time, so you're getting two perspectives. But obviously I can't do that just because of the tech and the battery life. It actually makes me think of all those overhead shots that I got when I was walking around the lake and stuff like that. Let's try to find some of that. All right, see you guys later.